Okay, so what was your initial reaction to the situation between Joan and Mary?
Uh,
I just was thinking that um, wait, Mary was the one that wanted to use the car, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this one just kind of blew my mind. I don't see
Yeah,
why someone wouldn't just say, no, you can't use my car, or why somebody else would be expecting that they can use your brand new car whenever they want for like a holiday road trip. It didn't
exactly.
make any sense. If you're trying to get somewhere, just get a cab if you have to, or get somebody else to drive you or something. I
Yeah,
don't see how this one even needed to escalate.
it was a weird situation. Because she said, like, that Mary was thinking that she could borrow the car because Mary's sister came to visit and Joan drove Mary's sister's car. But I don't see how that's like a similar enough situation that she would just expect to be able to drive a car like basically off the lot for a weekend 120 miles away. Like,
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
I don't know what either of them are thinking.
Yeah, it seemed like both of them just made assumptions about how the other would react instead of just asking them.
Yeah, because both of them were like, oh, or one who was gonna borrow the car, but she thought, oh my gosh, yeah, she'll probably be okay with letting me borrow the car, but no, it was just like the other way around. It's like, no, you can't take the car.
Yeah, but also like but Joan kept giving her like ambiguous answers. I don't know why you would assume that means yes
Yeah.
in that situation.
Honestly, it's sort of straightforward no.
Yeah. What's the second question?
Second question. All right, it's going to be, to what extent do you believe your own options for approaching a conflict depend on the other person's?
I think it depends a lot. If you want to, I mean, probably in a conflict, you're trying to either work something out to like in a compromise or get your way, most likely. So I think it benefits you to approach a conflict like knowing what the other person might do or like what, but also I guess you can't really make assumptions. So maybe actually I don't know.
No, I think I agree that it depends quite a bit on what the other person's doing, especially, when you're getting emotions involved, if somebody is acting really antagonistically or, bringing up personal attacks, then, even if you go into it with the best intentions of wanting to deal with it civilly, like sometimes that option can kind of be removed if the other person refuses to follow along with that. That's a rather extreme case, but I think
Yeah.
conflicts
I
follow
agree.
that model.
I'd say that it would take a lot for me to someone else's attitude to change the way that I'm approaching a conflict. I think that unless it came down to like getting pushed or something, that I'd be pretty composed the whole time. Like I could get screamed at and still talk calmly back to somebody else. Just how I thought about it. But then
Probably
if
work
someone,
for
I'm not gonna,
customer. Yeah.
yeah, I could let somebody yell at me, but you can't let somebody like hit you over and over again.
Yeah.
I mean, if everybody thought like Jacob, and this world would be better off. But that, unfortunately, that isn't the case. In society today. So I mean, just about every facet that we deal with on our day-to-day lives is filled with mixed up emotions. That some people not being able to hold their composure. I mean, I'm one of them. I'm not even gonna front.
Yeah.
But kudos to Jacob though.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Well, that's what I like to think. It might not be fact.
yeah, I feel like if you were or in a conflict where it's like aggressive, it's like you start getting aggressive because that aggression is gonna like flow back and forth.
For
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're
Only
right. I
so
mean,
much
take
you
for
can
example,
control
like
yourself.
like yeah, like road rage. You know, I mean, you could be calm and the minute somebody cuts you off, now you're talking about back and forth confrontation. And you're right. It makes perfect sense.
No, for sure.
Okay.
All
I
right.
feel like we,
Question 3 is, what styles would you have used if you were Joan and Mary? Might the conflict have turned out differently had they chosen different approaches?
I think all Mary had to say was, no, you can't use my car. And Joan
Yeah.
would have said,
Yeah.
okay. Conflict resolved.
yeah, this one's pretty easy fix.
Just be straight up no.
Yeah. Because I mean, on Mary's part, like it was a weird assumption for her to make that it was okay to use that car and that she would even ask that, you know, because I wouldn't even ask. But if she was gonna do that, like at least she asked her straight up, like, can I use it this weekend? You know, going to wherever she's going. Like she asked her a straight up question, so she could have gotten back a straight up answer.
Yeah, I also, I think they both kind of went for avoidance on this, just like hot potatoing the issue for as long as possible without giving any resolution. I think probably they could have tried something like a compromise, like maybe she could have dropped her off at her parents, and then her parents could have walked back to the dorm or apartment or whatever. Yeah, I mean, just in general, if both of them are going to avoid it, like it's not gonna end pretty.
Yeah, and it only escalated when they went to like the car insurance person, and she told him that she doesn't want it insured. Hey, you just told him that. You could have told her.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, we got the last question here. We got about 6 minutes to go, so.
Okay.
It's, if time permits, think about a situation in which you wanted to use a collaborating style and found the response you received made it difficult or impossible. What did you do?
I couldn't really think of a specific scenario.
I can think of one because I kind of wrote about it for the like individual activity about a conflict. So I work at a restaurant and it's like a vegan restaurant. So there's a lot of people who have like different, like they're either like vegan or they're like gluten free and they have all these allergies and stuff. So it's just like important for us to like know that and be aware of that. And there was one lady who got like, basically she was allergic to nuts. She got a sauce that had nuts in it, but the food didn't have nuts. And I was like, I wasn't her server, but I was like helping her out. And she was really upset that she got the sauce with nuts in it. She was allergic. She didn't even touch the sauce. Like she just looked at it, but she was really upset that it was on her plate. And I guess I was trying to collaborate with her because I was like, okay, I can take that away and I can get you a different sauce. I can get you like, dessert on us because she was like really upset. So I was like trying to make it better. I was trying to find out like what would be the solution to that problem, but she just kept yelling at me and she was just mad. And yeah, the solution was I just got my manager and she dealt with it. But she was still like really just upset the whole time. Yeah, it's my story.
Yeah, I think a lot of us who've worked customer service jobs have probably encountered people who you can do everything right and they're not going to be satisfied with what you try to help them with.
Yeah, and you just get your manager.
So like on the other side of that, from the customer aspect in a customer service environment, I'll use this example. So last week, I went into AutoZone, Saturday morning to be exact. And it was pretty busy. Saturday mornings when everybody gets to go in there and, pick up some stuff that they need for their cars or whatever have you. And it was getting really crowded. The staff behind the counter were kind of scrambling to kind of, shorten the line down and help people with parts and stuff. And so for me, up front, to use a collaborative approach, from an operations standpoint, I get what it's like to be behind the bullet with, customers waiting and, from an operations standpoint, because I've been in and around customer service, most of my time. And so I said to the manager, hey, you might want to get some organization here, what line is what, who's paying for what, who's helping who, because this is getting crowded, it's unorganized. And so I thought that by just kind of approaching it from a calm demeanor as a customer, that I maybe get the response from, a professional manner. And so he just looked at me and just kind of nodded off and just kind of waved me off. And then they started messing around him and one of the other cashiers or employees. And when he blew me off, I kind of got irate and I just went off on him in front of everybody. And so that's kind of the collaborative approach I tried at first, from a customer service standpoint. But when you got like 15 people in line and you're here bullshitting, then that's just insane in itself. So I tried to use a cooperative / collaborative approach, but it didn't work. So the outcome I was expecting for was not what it should have been, at least.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes customer service is just like you can be in it and it's like you're not doing it well. But if you're, especially like in restaurants when you're understaffed, like there's not a lot you can do because you're just understaffed. And that's just the cards you were dealt by the managers who scheduled that day. And
yeah, absolutely.
And you just it sucks, and you can't really do anything, and it sucks because then you feel bad. But,
So I work as a photographer, and so working with a lot of clients, and a lot of my job is really just setting up shoots in and of itself. I spend probably more time talking with clients than I do actually shooting with them. And I had a woman approach me. She was getting ready to get married, and she was probably 3 or 4 years older than me, I would guess. So probably in a similar life situation. She didn't have an extravagant budget for her photographer, and I'm pretty willing to work with people when it comes to that kind of thing. But so she messages me and tells me about what she wants, and she tells me her budget. Her budget, if I remember correctly, was something like $300. And she wanted full videography, like a full video of her service, full photography. They wanted an engagement shoot included.
Oh my God.
Wow.
The beginning of the day when they were getting ready all the way to the end of the reception, and a printed photo book for $300.
Wow.
I tried to explain to her, I was like, you got to understand, this means,
Times by 10.
yeah, this means probably 36 hours of work for me at a minimum. So, that's just not something that's going to work, is that price range. And, she, I kind of tried to say, maybe if we take videography out of it, we take the engagement shoot out, and we ixnay the photo book, maybe we can talk about just doing digital files for $300 for the whole day. And she just wasn't having it. So eventually I kind of just told her, I was like, I don't think I'm the right artist for you. Here are some other photographers who might be closer to your budget. They gave her contact information for them and kind of sent her on her way.
I feel outside of the whole working thing, because I've been in not really in a conflict, but I've had family members who's told me a conflict between her and a roommate, and I tried to tell her something that would work maybe for her and the roommate, but it just felt so bad because the roommate never told her that she was basically moving out of that apartment. And I was like, you can't really do much about it because they didn't tell you sooner than before. and I didn't know what else to do because like I'm not in that situation. It's her that's in the situation. So I'm like outside of this whole thing, and it felt kind of hard not to like be like, maybe they're a bad roommate and stuff. And like you now then getting two random people that you don't even know, it's like, how is this like any easier for her? And I can't really do much about it because I'm outside of this whole thing.
Yeah, people just are weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I like relate with a lot of the like customer service stuff because I work at like a bar restaurant, and so like a lot of the I guess like conflict that we see is people getting too intoxicated and like needing to be kicked out, and a lot of people don't like to leave, so they're very obnoxious, and it's kind of hard to like handle that situation in like a proper manner because I'm guessing you've been around drunk people that are obnoxious and very disrespectful. So like I feel like we always have to try and like keep our cool, and like I try and like because some people are really disrespectful, so I try not to like go off on them or let it get to me. I try to just like tell a manager or tell security and like handle it that way. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of like how I see it at my work and stuff, and I feel like it gets really difficult just because they're drunk and they don't ever want to listen. So
Yeah, the drunkenness makes it like there's no chance of like collaborating.
yeah, like it's hard to exactly like it's hard to find like a common ground. And a lot of the times like I'm not that drunk and like they just don't ever want to like listen or see that it's not really against them, it's more of like a liability against the bar type thing. So it's kind of hard to get them to like understand the like bar's perspective on it. So
Yeah.
All right. Well, we did pretty dang good on time. So if everybody's cool with calling it a night.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
And
Awesome.
we're meeting next Monday, same time, if that works with everybody.
Works for me.